Hello. Please briefly introduce yourself and the work you've been doing or will be doing in the context of this conference.
Hello, just to introduce myself, my name is Urban Jaksa. I come from Slovenia. I'm a master's student. I would say social activist. I'm involved with several non-governmental organizations. One is a local one called Association Polituss, where we basically try to encourage young people to take up an active stance in their society. So we kind of encourage active citizenship, political, social, economic participation of young people. And I'm doing a bunch of other related projects, also cooperating with Transparency International on anti-corruption issues, transparency promotion, and so on.
What are the positive activities would you like to? What are the positive actions would you like to see more in your community, and where would you like to see them coming from? Who will drive the change?
Okay. I think young people have to drive the change. I mean, historically, young people, especially educated young people, have been the drivers of change. Now, there's a often repeated phrase that, the young people are the future, which of course is true and should be true. But the thing is that young people also have to live in the present. They have to survive here and now. And this is the only way that we can ensure young people to be the future, by giving them opportunities, by involving them in political participation, in economic participation, in decision making. I hope the change will come from the young people, and I think we are seeing some indicators that this is already happening with the Occupy movement, with the Arab Spring, with the Indignados, with all this, the multitude of social and political movements.
Please briefly state or talk about the social movements in Slovenia at the moment. What has been achieved and where will it lead to, in your opinion?
Okay, so Slovenia is probably facing the biggest political crisis, not to speak of economic crisis, since its independence. So there have been massive protests that have been unseen for almost 2 decades, which have united people against corruption, against partitocracy, against austerity measures. And it's basically a very, how should I say, it's not formalized, it's very fragmented, there isn't a certain program, so it's still in the phase of emergence. But there are some lines which are being crystallized, and it's basically that I think it's the same context as everywhere else in Europe. So primarily against austerity measures, against the power that financial institutions hold upon the state, against increasing wealth gap, and so on.
What are the practices, the more innovative practices, either social or economical, that are growing or that are seen in your society? And how are people moving beyond this purely economical or money paradigm? Do you see it growing more in the future?
Mm-hmm. Well, there have been some grassroots initiatives that I think they could be considered progressive. So one is the development of, I would say, cooperatives, not just in the sense of producing in the traditional way, but also in academia. So academic cooperatives. You also have, of course, gardening collectives, kind of autonomous productive units, and so on. So young people and people in general are finding new ways to unite, and new ways to produce in times of crisis. So, in a sense, this is the response to fragmentation, and this is the response to precarization of the society. And of course, there are different ways of innovative political participation. There is, basically, we've seen everything from large-scale protests, which are a more traditional way, and then we've seen, different ways of obstructing, reforms, with the neoliberal reforms. And we've seen, basically trade unions, students, old people, jobless, migrants, everyone united basically against the same issue.
Thank you very much, Urban, and I hope you have a good conference ahead.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Thank you.